Have you ever wondered how bees make that sweet golden honey we all love so much? Well, the answer lies in the intricate and fascinating world of bees. These small buzzing creatures play a vital role in our ecosystem, acting as nature's most industrious pollinators. There's a whole lot more to bees than meets the eye, starting with their highly structured society. Each beehive is a bustling metropolis, home to thousands of bees, each with a distinct role. The worker bees, the largest group, are the hive's backbone, taking on the heavy lifting of gathering nectar, building honeycombs, and feeding the young. Then there are the drones, the males of the hive. Their sole purpose, to mate with a virgin queen, ensuring the continuity of the hive. And speaking of queens, there's only one queen bee per hive. She's the mother of all the bees, laying up to 2,000 eggs per day. Her royal status is signified by her larger size and special diet of royal jelly. But back to that sweet golden honey. It all begins with the worker bees embarking on a mission to collect nectar from flowers. Using their long tube-shaped tongues, they suck the liquid nectar out of the flowers and store it in their honey stomachs. This process, known as foraging, is not just about honey production. It's also critical for the pollination of plants. As bees move from flower to flower, they inadvertently transfer pollen, helping plants to reproduce. This makes bees essential for the survival of our ecosystems and for food production worldwide. The nectar collected by the bees is the raw material for honey. But how does this sweet liquid become the thick, syrupy substance we spread on our toast or stir into our tea? Now let's delve deeper into how this nectar becomes the honey we enjoy. So, how do bees go about collecting nectar, you might wonder? It's a fascinating process, really. These industrious little creatures use their long tube-shaped tongues, which are more scientifically known as proboscises, to extract the sweet nectar from flowers. You see, nectar is a sugary fluid produced by flowers to attract pollinators, and bees are one of nature's best. As they move from flower to flower sipping on nectar, they inadvertently assist in the pollination process, helping plants reproduce and thrive. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Bees don't just gulp down the nectar and digest it. Instead, they store it in a special part of their bodies known as the honey stomach or crop. This is an expandable sac-like organ separate from their actual stomach, specifically designed for nectar transportation. Quite the clever design, wouldn't you agree? And the marvel doesn't stop there. A bee's work ethic is something to behold. In a single day, a bee can visit up to 5,000 flowers. That's right, 5,000. It's a testament to their tireless commitment to their colony and the vital role they play in our ecosystem. Picture this, a bee flitting from flower to flower, sipping nectar, storing it in its honey stomach, and flying back to the hive. It's an intricate dance that plays out millions of times a day across the globe, a dance that ultimately leads to the creation of the sweet, golden delight we call honey. But the journey of the nectar doesn't end in the honey stomach. No, that's merely the first step. The nectar must still undergo a series of transformations before it becomes the honey we know and love. Once the nectar is collected, the real magic begins back at the hive. And that, dear listener, is a story for another scene. So stay tuned as we continue to unravel the mysteries of beekeeping and the magical process of honey creation. How does this floral nectar become honey, you might ask? Well, it's a process as fascinating as it is natural, a perfect example of nature's ingenuity at work. Once the hardworking bees return home from their nectar-gathering expeditions, they start the process of converting the nectar into honey. This transformation begins with a rather fascinating process known as regurgitation. Yes, you heard it right. The bees actually regurgitate the nectar, passing it from bee to bee until it gradually loses most of its water content. But how does this happen, you wonder? Well, each bee has an enzyme in its stomach called invertase, which it adds to the nectar. This enzyme breaks down the complex sugars in the nectar into simpler ones, making it easier for us and the bees to digest. Now at this point, the nectar is still too watery to be called honey. So what do the bees do? They get to work evaporating the excess water. They achieve this by fanning their wings over the nectar at a remarkable speed. Imagine a tiny bee-powered fan, if you will, drying out the nectar drop by drop. This fanning action creates an airflow within the hive, which in turn speeds up the evaporation process. It's a miniature natural dehydrator, if you like. Bees are indeed nature's little engineers, aren't they? As the water content decreases, the sugar concentration in the nectar increases, and voila, it starts to take on the thick golden consistency we recognize as honey. This transformation is nothing short of magical, a sweet alchemy performed by our little winged friends. But don't get too excited just yet. Even though it looks and tastes like honey, there's still one more step to complete this natural wonders journey. The honey is almost ready, but there's one final step before it's ready for us to eat. So stay tuned as we delve deeper into the hive in the next part of our journey into the world of bees and honey. What's the final step in honey production, you might ask? Well, it's as meticulous and fascinating as the previous stages. Once the transformation process is complete, the bees take on the task of storing this golden elixir. Imagine this: tiny wax jars, each meticulously crafted by the bees. These are the honeycomb cells, the final storage units for our precious honey. Each cell is carefully filled with honey, drop by drop, until it's brimming with sweetness. But the bees' work doesn't end here. Next comes the sealing process. The bees cap each honey-filled cell with a layer of wax. This wax seal is more than just a lid. It's a protective barrier that keeps the honey clean and safe. It's nature's perfect packaging, if you will. Now, let's turn our attention to the beekeepers. Armed with their tools and dressed in protective gear, they approach the hives with respect and care. Their task? Harvesting the honey. They do this by gently removing these wax caps and extracting the honey. It's a delicate process that requires skill and patience. The extracted honey is then strained to remove any remaining wax or impurities. The result? Pure golden honey, ready to be jarred and savored. And there you have it, from flower to jar, the fascinating journey of honey. So, what have we learned today? We've journeyed through the intricate world of beekeeping, discovering how bees collect nectar from flowers, convert it into honey, store it in honeycombs, and then seal it with wax. Each step, a testament to their diligence and the marvel of nature. Next time you enjoy a spoonful of honey, remember the hard-working bees and their incredible journey to bring you that sweet delight. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating insights into the natural world around us.